has done so well in every book he has written. He has done so well in every painting he has done. We had one in the Smart Partnership movement hub in London.
President Museveni talked about a fundamental change. This is one of the most fundamental changes. That you have soldiers, that you have a soldier. He's toting a gun, but he has remained in his element. He has not forgotten what defined him in the first instance. Every designer knows they cannot design anything successful unless they look at nature, because nature can never go wrong.
His writing skills and work is a mixture of traditional African antiquities created out of fabrics, colors, and woodwork that is totally African.
UPDF or NRA really put in your mind that you can defend yourself, you can defend yourself against all evils, you can liberate your mind, and it gave me at least the liberating my capacity to be a commander, a leader, a mobilizer, and a person that could be trusted.
The launch of his new book, Liberated My Art Life, marked the occasion to celebrate his survival 40 years ago since 1981 NRA attack.
Today, the 1st of November 1981, God proved to me that he still saw, and up to now he's still seeing that I still have some work to do here. And really, I celebrate this life, that I am alive today, and it is another 40 years from then. You know, since 81, it is now 40 years.
General Tumwine says he lost his eye just because he wanted Ugandans, especially young people, to have peace in their country. Former Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, who was the guest of honor, applauded the Bushwa hero.
Contribute in terms of art and in terms of publications and books. Really, this is a great achievement by Uganda. And other countries will be quoting Uganda in terms of works of art. I don't think many other African countries have done what we are doing through the works of Ndugu Tumwine.
The book, Liberated My Art Life, highlights the life and achievements of General Eli Tumwine and the NRA revolution. Haruna Mtesa Sida, UBC News.
Well, thank you so much. Now back to our top story. We do apologize for bringing you the wrong story, but still regarding judicial bail refunds, here are the details.
It is not a punishment, and it is not a presumption that the person is guilty, because the person is still presumed to be innocent until proven guilty.
That who is important in this chain? Number one is the judicial officer. And by judicial officer here, I mean a judge, I mean a registrar, I mean a magistrate. So all these are key players in a cash bail process. Why? The judicial officer is important first at granting this cash bail in determining the amount and pronouncing the amount of money to be paid. So what does that mean? That means any person that is paying for bail must first hear the amount that the judicial officer has pronounced. So let somebody not tell you before you come into the court that pay 500,000. Let the amount of 500,000 come from the judicial officer who is seated in court. Then when it comes to the time of refund, it is the role of the judicial officer to sign the requisition that is sent to the secretary to the judiciary and also ensure that the same is delivered. The matter is handled by the judicial officer. The clerk again picks it from there once bail has been granted, takes it to the cash office for assessment. Once payments have been made, it is the role of the clerk to prepare the bail bond form that I showed you, ensuring that the accused has signed, the sureties have signed, the judicial officer has endorsed and puts all the paperwork properly on the file. We are appealing to our people to maintain good custody of the documents that I have talked about, because at the end of the day, these documents are very important in supporting the application for refund. The public should insist on making payments in the bank. Insist on paying payments in the bank and obtaining a general receipt from the court. As I have just noted, unreceipted payments will not be refunded. Our request is let all those who have paid their bail deposits in court, who have faithfully attended their trials through the years, who have not forfeited because of abscondment or other reasons, please go ahead and file for your bail refund. Our commitment as the judiciary is that we remain committed to deliver our services in an honest and very transparent manner. We remain committed to transparency in as far as bail refunds are concerned, and we remain very committed to refund that money.
Transparency is the judiciary's commitment in this period. Away from that, with humanity already struggling to cope with rising seas, more powerful storms, deadly heat waves, and rapidly changing ecosystems needed to sustain life, Global Climate Summit in Glasgow opened with a series of desperate pleas for action from nations large and small.
In the next days, devote ourselves to this extraordinary task so that we not only continue with a program that is of green industrial revolution that is already creating millions of high-wage, high-skilled jobs in power and technology, taking our economies forward. Let us also do enough to save our planet and our way of life. And as we work, let us think about those billions of beady eyes that are watching us around the world, increasingly edgy and disenchanted. And let us think of the billions more of the unborn, whose anger will be all the greater if we fail.
These commitments made by some are based on technologies yet to be developed, and this is at best reckless and at worst dangerous. On finance, we are $20 billion short of the $100 billion, and this commitment, even then, might only be met in 2023. On adaptation, adaptation finance remains only at 25%, not the 50-50 split that was promised nor needed, given the warming that is already taking place on this earth.
And every day we delay, the cost of inaction increases. So let this be the moment that we answer history's call here in Glasgow. Let this be the start of a decade of transformative action that preserves our planet and raises the quality of life for people everywhere. We can do this. We just have to make a choice to do it. So let's get to work.
It is the hope of many that the legacy of this summit, written in history books yet to be printed, will describe you as the leaders who did not pass up the opportunity, and that you answered the call of those future generations. That you left this conference as a community of nations with a determination, a desire, and a plan to address the impact of climate change, and to recognize that the time for words has now moved to the time for action.
Well, there are the Queen's words. Time is now for action, and COP26 is committed to protecting and restoring the ecosystem. Away from that, Department of Land Matters in State House has started investigations into several land issues, including eviction in Mukono, led by Miriam Namayanja, the Senior Private Secretary to the President. On land matters, the department has registered over 90 cases. The resident District Commissioner, Mukono, Ndisaba, has pledged to work with the team to address the land-related issues.
A very good innovation under our ministry that the team is brought on ground in the districts which have conflicts. We sit together as a team, we manage the issues as a team, and it reduces on the costs of transport for the witnesses that are supposed to be taken to Kampala to be heard. But we bring them to Mukono, and we are to make a locus meeting on Thursday to see that we look into the issues as the lady is stating them, and then we get to listen to the Chinese, the investors and other buyers from that land, and to see whether the land she's talking about is equivalent to what was put in the agreement. So it is a very good innovation, and we promise to give the necessary support to our members in the community, and we beg please to forgive us for whatever inconvenience we've put on you, because some people had to go through their places of work.
The President, through the Minister for Presidency, directed that State House and Department should come and camp here in Mukono for a period of 2 weeks to listen to the concerns of the residents of Mukono following the looming evictions and the demolitions of people's buildings or structures in the night. So we are here to listen to their complaints, because there have been a lot of allegations against some individual security agencies, allegations against some individual government officials. And here when the President talks, and as lawyers, we have to make sure that all the laws are implemented very well. Some of our people here are ignorant about the law.
Because Mukono is a fast-growing area, so you expect land to have value, so you expect more conflict, because now you can't have a conflict over something that doesn't have value. So now, since land has value in Mukono, definitely we expect conflict, either between family members or between neighbors, or between thieves, I would say thieves and genuine whatever, between landlords and Chibanja owners, between the church and the squatters. So there are different conflicts.
Well, thank you so much for that update. Away from that, we get to look at National Drug Authority having warned the public against the consumption of M-Magic's coffee that is in circulation on the Ugandan market. This follows the laboratory analysis of the M-Magic's coffee samples picked from the market, and results confirm that the product is adulterated. Dr. Mwesigo was the Director of Inspectorate Enforcement National Drug Authority, saying that this particular citrate is a drug for exercising and dysfunctioning, which must be under strict precaution and also given by qualified medical personnel.
And NDA hereby directs all pharmacies, drug shops, supermarkets and other general merchandise shops to stop sale or stocking of this product. NDA has directed the importer of M-Magic's coffee to stop importation and recall all the supplied batches of this product with immediate effect. We call upon the public to be vigilant and report all suspicious products on the market that could be adulterated to NDA on a toll-free line, which is 0800 101 and 999. I repeat the number, 0800 101 999. An analysis will be undertaken to establish the contents of such products as we continue to work together to protect the public health. Instructed, we are working with other government agencies like UNBS. We have informed them because we don't control food. This is a coffee. So our other organizations that control food have been informed, and we have informed the public so that we withdraw this product from saturation. We wouldn't know how much that came in, since we don't control the importation of the foods.
Now, this has been going out as food. Coffee is regarded as food, which falls under the mandate of a different sister agency. We only come in to look into energy drinks, such as food products, if the public complains that they are getting reactions from consuming them. And like he rightly said, someone reported to us that when he took this, he felt abnormally strong and reported to NDA, and we had to look into this.
Well, thank you so much. We now take a short commercial break on UBC Lunchtime News. We return shortly.
Deposit money onto your Airtel Money account. Reactivate your Airtel Money account with a deposit of a minimum of 1,000 shillings and get 10 minutes free Airtel to Airtel calls valid for 24 hours. Offer is applicable for a one-time transaction. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub, name it. We also offer additional services like honeymoon packages, hiring venues, and vehicles for brides and grooms. Training interns from different beauty schools. We are located on Uganda House, ground floor 5. Call to book for your appointment on 0702 645 015 or 0414 696 229. You can WhatsApp us on 0752 645 005. Email us beyondbeautyparlor@yahoo.com.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN Mobile Money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
If you look at all sectors, energy has an influence.
Now, how do we build a model that is sustainable? We're making good investments and we're growing the sector.
Our record under UEP had not been that very good.
World Bank Group has been involved in Uganda electricity sector since the mid-2000s, where it has supported the government in very bold reform.
The last 15 years we focused on the parameters that were set in our concession that was negotiated at the time. It took the best minds of Uganda to work on it and also the best minds internationally because they had to plan for 20 years ahead.
As remember, we have innovated over the period. We've rolled out cashless. We introduced payment metering, Yaka. As I speak now, the 1.5 million customers are all on Yaka.
The transition has been very, very good because Ugandans who enjoy the power went out and bought shares.
Umeme's massive investment, a robust and functional distribution network that will impact the lives of Uganda's over 40 million citizens.
Good afternoon once again. Thank you so much for being with us here on UBC as lunchtime comes to an end. We'll now take you to the Uganda Media Center where Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, Minister for ICT, is addressing the media on cabinet resolutions.
Trace back and get to know where that organ has come from. And also the law provides for offences and punitive penalties for illegal dealings in human organs, tissues and cells and for related matters. So that's one of the issues or key legislation that we considered in the cabinet, the law to provide for donating and transplantation of body organs, tissues and cells. So we considered it and passed it for onward tabling to the Parliament of Uganda. And once it is tabled, then we shall continue debating it until when it is processed into a law. The third issue that we considered, and the final one, is that Cabinet also noted that a group of nomadic cattle keepers, who are commonly known as Valaro, continue roaming in the different parts of the country, and we got reports that they are roaming, especially in northern Uganda, in search of pasture and water for their animals. And we directed that these herdsmen should leave immediately and go back to their places of origin. And to that effect, we constituted a small committee to work with the local leadership, especially northern Uganda, to see that the Valaro, as they are commonly known, are taken back to their places, especially those who are illegally trespassing on the people's land. Because they are nomadic, they just move with their animals without animal movement permits, and there are complaints from those parts of the country. So we directed that they should go back where they are coming from, because the law provides that for you to move animals, you should have a movement permit for the animals. And therefore we want to caution the veterinary officers, the RDCs, the police in those districts not to allow people just to come and start walking around with animals without following the due procedure as provided by the law. So we made a directive that those nomadic herdsmen should go back to where they are coming from and stop trespassing on people's land, especially in northern Uganda, where they have gone in search of pasture and water for their animals. So those are the three key issues which we considered the one of the Science Week, which I think has been ably articulated by the Minister for Science and her team. Then the other two were the law on donation and transplantation of body organs, tissues and cells. And then the final one was the issue of the Valaro, whom we directed that they should leave northern Uganda and other parts of the country where they are trespassing on people's land and get back to their communities where they ordinarily live to go and graze from there. I thank you very much for listening, and I am ready to receive any points of clarification or any questions, and then I can give briefly in Uganda and we end our press briefing this afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. My name is Daniel Rutaya from NBS TV. This Valaro, have you considered that the Valaro may not have a place, because in your statement you say they are nomadic? So did you consider, the cabinet consider the fact that these people could just be roamers who move around? And is it possible then, in your plan, get for them the permanent area of residence? Then the second question is about a letter that we have seen making the rounds from the Minister of State for Justice Fairness, Larry Onek, where he threatens to resign from government because of interference in his duties by the Prime Minister, Robin Ahmed. Is it something that you have seen, and is it something that Cabinet has discussed? Or do you have a response of government? Any other question? But I think we should stick to organ transplant.
government spokesperson, if there is a burning and pressing issue, you can still allow it like he has that about the Prime Minister's office. Although we should just focus on the issues, but should there be a heavily burning issue, you can still raise it.
Okay. My first question is also about the Malala. As the leaders are always there to provide the solution to the challenging problem. Yeah, these people, their problem would be that they have been moving up and down, looking for pasture and water, meaning where they are or where they came from, there was no longer water and pasture. So you are directing them to go back. Have you prepared anything to help them? Because if they go back to their animals, they will die from there. And the other thing is about when is this bill expected to be brought in the parliament? Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Ivan Kawa, UBC TV. Honorable Minister, we are aware that most secondary institutions started operating yesterday, but quite a number of students have been stuck. They have been not allowed to access the school premises if they do not present their vaccination cards. I want to understand what is government's position on that specific matter.
Okay, that's all. Yes. So, thank you very much for the questions and the comments. Let me start with the issue of Vararo. Vararo, like I said, it's a common word that people use to describe these nomadic herdsmen or herdspersons. I want to be gender sensitive. And you are saying they come from nowhere. Are they from heaven? And you are as if you are pleading that we leave them to maraud around and roam around, but it's where they originate from, where they come from. And that's why we have put a committee to go and engage with the local government leaders in those areas where they are, and even engage with them. Because I want to believe that everybody in this country has where he or she takes as his home place. Like you are in Kampala, but if I asked you where do you come from, you say I'm originally from Mityana, I am from maybe Acholi, I am from Kanungu, I work in Kampala. So even them, they must be having where they come from. And they just move. And we don't encourage that kind of lifestyle anymore. Because, one, these animals can spread disease. That's why the law provides for getting an animal movement permit if you have to move animals from one place to another. Because you might move to a place which has disease, or even you might carry disease as you move your animals. That's why I'm saying the veterinary officers, the police, the RDCs, and leaders in those areas should be active in monitoring this and do not just allow people to roam around, because it becomes a challenge to control these veterinary diseases. And therefore, when the leaders engage with this Vararo, they will tell them where they come from, and if they say they have nowhere they come from, then we shall look for a solution as a government, whether are they Ugandans or not. If they are not Ugandans, then we treat them as refugees. If they are Ugandans, then we shall find a way of settling them if necessary. But for people to just walk around with animals and they invade people's land, it is not something that we support as a government. So therefore, the committee which we put in place will give us a report depending on what they have found out, on who these Balaro are, where are they coming from, what challenges they face, and then the necessary action shall be taken. When will the bill come? The bill on organ transplant donation is that usually when the bill comes to cabinet, you see the process of enacting a law, like in this case a government bill, starts in the ministry. Like in this case, this bill has been prepared and presented by the minister responsible for health. So it is sponsored by the Ministry of Health. And they carry out consultations before they draft this bill. They usually present principles in the cabinet, and then the cabinet authorizes the minister to go ahead, and then the cabinet instructs the first parliamentary council to assist the ministry in drafting a law. That's the process. So once the law has been drafted, like in this case, then the minister again comes back to cabinet. And then we consider the bill and make comments. We can reject the bill, or we accept it the way it is, or we propose amendments. Like in this case, we considered it and proposed some amendments. So from there, it goes back to the first parliamentary council, which is the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, where the government drafts people are. So they draft the bill, they incorporate the comments from cabinet, and once they have been incorporated, then the minister brings the bill to parliament. Now, the comments which were made were not major. They should be able to take just a few days to incorporate the comments, and once the bill has been gazetted in the National Gazette, then the minister brings it to parliament. So maybe in the period of like 1 or 2 weeks, we should be able to see this bill on the floor of parliament. And of course, once it is in the parliament, you know the process. It is sent to a committee. The committee carries out consultations, considers the bill, then brings the report to the parliament, and we debate until when we conclude the discussion, and then it is sent to the president for assent. So to answer your question, 1 or 2 weeks, it should be in the parliament for consideration. Now the other 2 questions were about the universities. First of all, we have been announcing for the last number of weeks and months that students, particularly university students and those in tertiary institutions, should go for vaccination before the university is open. That we shall not allow students, teachers, and workers in the universities and the tertiary institutions to come back for work or for studies unless they present proof that they have been vaccinated at least once. If you have been vaccinated once or you got a full dose, that's when you shall be accepted. So it appears some students and teachers thought the government was not serious. So now you are saying they are being turned away because they have not been vaccinated. What we have advised the universities and the institutions, they can organize vaccination centers within the university, and somebody gets the jab and then is allowed in. Or they go to the nearest center where they are vaccinating. They vaccinate you and then you are allowed into the university. It shouldn't cause a crisis. Let the students or teachers or the workers of these universities and tertiary institutions go to the nearest center and get vaccinated, or if the numbers are high, then the Ministry of Health shall work with these universities to establish vaccination centers so that they can be vaccinated and then they start school. So we are not saying that you should lose your opportunity to go for studies, but just get vaccinated and then you continue with your studies. And like we have been emphasizing, it is for the good of all of us to get vaccinated so that we can control this COVID-19 challenge which is afflicting us. So that's the guidance from government. But the university authorities, once again, should not allow anybody to teach, to study, or to work and be in the university premises unless he or she has received the COVID-19 vaccination. And if somebody obstinately refuses to get vaccinated, then it means he or she has forfeited the opportunity of being part of that institution. Because people have been saying, why are you forcing us to get vaccinated? We have a duty to protect everybody. If, for instance, you are teaching in Makerere, we are your employer as the government, so you can choose to either comply and get vaccinated and work, or you can choose to opt out of the employment and go and seek employment elsewhere. And that one we are going to enforce, because this is a public health measure that we have instituted, and we expect understanding and compliance from all those who are affected. And we have been assuring you that the vaccines are safe and they are efficacious in terms of protecting you against the disease, and therefore we would want to encourage Ugandans to take the vaccines if all of us are committed to ensuring that COVID-19 can be defeated. The last question was about the letter which is saturating social media, purported to have been written by the Minister for Disaster Preparedness, complaining about that the Prime Minister is usurping his powers and that he's threatening to resign. Well, I have not officially seen the letter. I've also seen it like you have done on social media. But this is not a big issue. If there is a misunderstanding in terms of work relations, that one will be sorted out. And the minister shall not resign. To me, I saw the letter also on social media, but I think it's a matter which can be internally handled, which should not cause any alarm. But the Right Honourable Prime Minister supervises all ministers and all ministries, and she should be supported to do her work. The Prime Minister is like a head teacher who supervises the teachers. Even the head teacher can teach, can go to class and teach, but he's the head of the teachers. Even if there is a misunderstanding between the minister and the Prime Minister, it is also not a good practice for you to start writing, putting in the media. The government has an internal mechanism of resolving any misunderstandings. So it's an issue which, in my view, is an accord for to start having that ping pong in the media. It's not a very good practice, and this one will be resolved internally within the government, and there should be no cause for alarm. Thank you very much. Yes. kati weekend twatuula nga kabineti y'eggwanga nga bulijjo twatuula mu State House Entebbe ng'olukiiko lukulembeddwa pulezidenti waffe pulezidenti Yoweri Museveni etuteesa ku nsonga ez'enjawulo kati ezimu zengenda kubanjulira. Ensonga esooka yali ku ebya science week. Di wiiki eno tujja kuba tujaguza ebya science n'okukuza olunaku obwa science day mwaka guno, ate minisita w'ebya science abadde wano n'abanyonyola ebigenda okukolebwa mu wiiki, ate ffenna nga gavumenti tuwagira ekya science y'ensonga lwaki obadde owulira pulezidenti ne gavumenti bagamba nti tuteekemu amaanyi mu kusoma n'okusomesa ebya science. Y'ensonga lwaki owulidde gavumenti yalangirira nti egenda kuba eyongeza emisaala ku bakozi aba science oba abasomesa oba abakozi ba gavumenti bali ba scientists betugenda kutandika nabo okubongeza emisaala. So ewiiki eno tujja kuba tujaguza ebya science ate tetwongera n'okunyonyola eggwanga ekirungi ekiva mu lya science. Ensonga ey'okubiri twateesa bago oba ekiragiro kyetugenda kukola ng'eggwanga ekikiriza abantu okuweerezayo body organs okusobola kuziweerezayo n'oziwa omuntu ne bamuteeka mu theatre ne bazimuwa. Okukinyonyola bulungi, omuntu ayinza kuba ali mulwadde n'osanga nti ensigo kidney nti efudde talina ensigo emu, naye gwe omulamu osobola kuweerezayo ensigo emu n'ogiwa oli omulwadde, abasawo ne bagimuteekamu n'ekola n'abeera n'obulamu. Oba omutima, naye omutima tosobola kuguweerezayo oli mulamu, omutima tugukozesa muntu ng'aba afudde, kyetuyita nti obwongo bw'oba bufudde naye omusaayi gukyatambula, n'olaba nti omuntu tasobola kukomyawo obulamu, osobola kugugyamu omutima n'oguweereza omuntu ne gukola. Kati tubale tetulina etteeka erivuga ekintu kino. Kati kabineti yatudde, minisita w'ebyobulamu n'aleeta etteeka lino etuteesaako etulikiriza nti ligende mu maaso, tujja kulireeta mu palamenti. Mu tteeka lino walimu ebintu bingi. Tujja kuteeka akakiiko aka Organ Transplant Council akajja kuba kalabirira enkola eno y'okutransplantinga. Tujja kuba tunoonyamu amadwaliro ng'eMulago n'amalala agajja kukirizibwa okukola transplant ye body organs n'ebintu eby'enjawulo bigenda kuba biraba nti amateeka weegali tusobola kukikola. Ne gavumenti etandise okutraininga abasawo ab'eMulago n'amadwaliro ag'enjawulo okubaweereza obukugu okukola kye tuyita transplant, okujja mu ogani mu muntu ne bagiteeka ku muntu omulala n'ekola n'abeerawo. Kintu kirungi, ate tugenda kuteekamu amaanyi tulabe nti twongezamu amaanyi mu byobulamu, kubanga kiyamba okulaba nti omuntu tumwongezayo emyaka bw'aba ali mulwadde. So etteeka twaliiseemu mu wiiki nga 2 lijja kuba lyanjuliddwa mu palamenti, nitwongere okulirongoosa tulabe nti liyitamu ng'etteeka. Ensonga eyokusatu cabinet yategedde nti waliwo abantu betuyita abalaalo, bano balunzi b'ente naye tebabeera wamu, batambula kuva mu kitundu kimu ne bagenda ku kirala ne bagenda ku kirala. Katwafunye amawulire mu matemba ga Uganda, bano abalaalo bayingiddeyo ate bakozesa amataka ngusi gaabwe ngu tebakkirizingana na bannannyini mataka. Ne tulagira nti baveeyo baddeyo ewabwe gye bavudde, ne tuteekako n'akakiiko k'abaminisita okukolagana n'abakulembeze ba districts ez'omu matemba ga Uganda okulaba nti abalaalo bano tubasabe baddeyo gye bavudde. Kubanga tulina amateeka mu ggwanga agayamba omuntu bw'aba agenda kutambuza ebisolo oteeka kufuna permit ekkiriza okutambuza ebisolo kubijja mu kifu kimu kubitwala walala. Naye bano bo batambula ngo tebalina za permit, sadde mu kutambula bayinza kuba batwala n'endwadde ez'ebisolo ezituleetera ekizibu. Ekyokubiri, abantu balina ettaka. Amateeka tegakkiriza nti gwo ofa agayingira mu ttaka ly'omuntu, kiyita trespass. So twagala nti bano abalaalo n'abalunzi b'ente baddeyo balondere ewabwe gye bava, tebatandika kutambula wonna gye baagala. So ezo zonsonga ezimu ze twayogeddeyo mu cabinet. Leero nazze wano okuzibabuulira n'okubuulira eggwanga nti ebimu cabinet wiiki eno yeyogeddeko ne tusalamu engero gye mbagambye nga bamawulire. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Ebibuuzo kale waliwo abuuzizza nti mulabye ebaluwa ku mikutu eya WhatsApp ne social media bwegamba nti minisita w'ebyigwa bitalaze awandiise n'agamba nti agenda kulekulira kubanga saba minisita ayingidde mu mirimu ye. Sinaba kulaba ebaluwa eyo entuufu, naye nange nabirabye ku social media, naye kano kantu katono ako tugenda kukamaliriza mu gavumenti kubanga saba minisita abeera supervisor w'abaminisita bonna, abeera nga headmaster mu ssomero babeeramu ba master ba teachers, naye ne babeerawo ne head teacher aba supervisinga ba minister ne ba ministries. Naye so kitegeeza nti prime minister alina obuyinza okutunula mu mirimu ya ministries zonna. Kati gwenga minister singa olina ebitakusanyusa tekyandibadde kirungi kutandika kuwandiika amabaluwa ogateekamu mawulire, kubanga mu gavumenti walimu mechanism y'okutereeza ensonga ng'ezo. Yandigenze nga wa vice president oba wa president ne batuula akunuka kasoba katono sobola kukamaliriza mu gavumenti, so tekabatwalira budde. So kiri mu cabinet ekibadde mu tekize mu cabinet, naye nange nakirabye ku social media, naye njagala kuba kakasa nti kino si kyamaanyi bw'oba waliwo ensonga wakati wa prime minister ne minister, ezo tugenda kuzimala munda mu gavumenti emirimu ya gavumenti egende mu maaso. Mubunzaana ekyokubiri nti za universities zaffe n'amasomero ag'ewaggulu gaguddewo jjo, za universities zitandise kugoba abaana n'abasomesa abatalina certificates eziraga nti bafunye empiso eya COVID-19 vaccine. Kati twagala kwebaza abakulembeze ba universities kubanga gavumenti kyeyalangirira ate neeragira nti tetujja kukkiriza omwana w'essomero oba musomesa oba abakozi aba universities n'amasomero aga tertiary institutions okutandika kukola oba kusoma ngo tebamaze kufuna akayiso aka COVID-19. So kati management ya universities kyebakola kituufu kubanga ne president yakyogera ate ne gavumenti negiweerezanga directive. So kyetusaba kati abaana b'essomero n'abasomesa n'abakozi nti bagende ku vaccination center eri kumpi bafune vaccine then bayingire mu university oba tertiary institution. Tujja kunoonyera tulabe goba abantu bali bangi abatafunye vaccines tusobola kukolagana ne ministry y'obulamu ebateereko arrangement okulaba nti waliwo vaccination center awo ku university oba kumpi awo bafune vaccines bayingire. Si kituufu nti gavumenti eyagala kugoba abasomesa oba abaana kyetwalagira kiri nti osooke ofune akayiso then bakukkirize mu university. Pozi omuntu bw'aba aganye mutayagala anafa kijja kugamba nti genda onoonye university endala oba ekifo ekirala ky'okukolamu kubanga kino tukikola kubw'obulamu bwaffe kubw'obulungi bwaffe. Kati we gwaki ogaana kufuna akayiso n'oyingira mu university okuleeta obulwadde ku balala. So awo twagala abantu bakitegeere nti kino twakiteekawo kubw'obulungi bwaffe kubw'obulamu bwaffe kubanga ffenna tulwanisa ekirwadde ekya COVID-19 ate n'eddagala lino lya vaccine twagala okubakakasa terina kizibu terina nsonga so temulitya. Abaana b'essomero tubasaba tebatya eddagala lino n'abasomesa temulitya ate eddagala kati weeriri kubanga twafunye doses nyingi. So tubasaba bagende bafune vaccine then bayingire amasomero naza universities kati okusoma n'okusomesa bitandike kati abaana baffe tulabe nti basoma tugende mu maaso. Mwebale nnyo mwebale ddala. Yes, you have.
Ogema obukulira omuntu kumpaka sofa kirina kuteekebwa gavumenti esinziira ku ki okukaka abantu kubanga kuno okubanga kaka ogamba omutuuti waba tagemeddwa ajja ku yunivasite endala ebusinziira ku ki okuteekawo teekebwa.
Anaawe gavumenti waliwo teeka genda osome the Immunization Act olabe kyegamba teeka weeriri twalikola mu mwaka gw'2011 Parliament naye si kukaka nagambye nti tetukaka abantu kuyako tubalabula n'okubasaba kubanga ffenna nga bannayuganda tutegeera nti waliwo ekirwadde ekya COVID-19 ate tufiiriddwa abantu ku kirwadde kino. ekya COVID-19 ate ffe twagala nti ekirwadde kirwandise tukigobe kati ekkubo erime eririwo ery'okukirwandisa ya vaccination okufuna akayiso aka vaccine tuyinza kutakozesa force ku bakayiso naye ng'oba oli mukozi wange nange mba nyina obuyinza kugamba nti tojja kuyingira mu ssomero lyange bw'oba toyagala okutwegatako okulwanisa ekirwadde kati abaana ng'oba bafunye akayiso okulwanisa ekirwadde kati gwe ng'omusomesa lwaki oyagala kuyingira mu university ngutofunye akayiso? It is like a malicious act. You also want to maliciously maybe affect others. So we may not force you to get vaccinated, but as government, we are in charge of the welfare of all Ugandans. And therefore, we have authority through the law to say we shall not allow you to infect these people by denying you an opportunity either to be a student there or to be a worker there. And the Constitution gives the government that right to protect all Ugandans. Because if we say there is an epidemic, let me put it in English. If we say there is a threat of this disease, that I'm just answering you. If we say these journalists are exposed to this problem of a disease, so I will come back to it. I'll first explain it because you didn't ask it in English first. Now, if Mr. Serumaga was saying for you to interface with them, you first wash your hands, then the risk will have been reduced, and then you come and join them. Now, we may not force you to wash hands, we may not tie you and you wash forcefully, but we can stop you from interacting with them. If you insist you don't want to wash hands, then you can say, okay, if you don't want to wash the hands, you go back, so that we protect these people who are here. So that is the concept. We may not force you to wash the hands, but we say, I have a duty to protect these people against the disease which you are likely to carry to them. If you wash your hands, you remove the risk you can associate with them. But if you say, no, I will not wash hands, then I also have a duty to say, no, I have to protect them, so you will not mix with them. So that's the concept of the vaccination. We may not tie you and vaccinate you forcefully, but we can stop you from being a danger to those who have accepted to get vaccinated. So that will be the concept. So, mukurwanisa ekirwadde ekya COVID-19 tumaze kulangirira nti abaana b'essomero aba universities n'abasomesa n'abo bonna abakola mu universities bagende bafune akayiso aka COVID-19 vaccine tubakkirize bayingire mu universities. Tetugenda kukikyusa kati gwe gwogaana n'ogamba nze saagala okufuna akayiso, kiba kitegeeza tosazeemu essomero eryo okulivaamu. Gwe obadde osazeemu oba osazeemu, kubanga nga gavumenti omulimu gwaffe gwakukuuma gwakulinda abantu okulaba nti tebafuna ekirwadde. Nawe tetugenda kukkiriza okuleeta ekirwadde ku bantu kubanga bali bakkiriza ne bagenda ne bafuna akayiso. Kati lwaki ogaana oyagala kuyingira n'obeera nabo bwogaanye? Naffe tujja kugamba obadde musomesa Makerere bonna bonna bayingidde bafunye akayiso. Gwe oba osazeemu kugaana oba oli mwana w'essomero ojja kugamba kale genda noonya walala gye bakkiriza abantu abagaanye kufuna akayiso. Oba obadde musomesa ojja kugamba okay, bw'oba osazeemu toyagala kufuna akayiso, kitegeeza gwe oyagala kusaasaana ekirwadde kino. Tetugenda kukkiriza okubeera n'abo abafunye akayiso. So olina obuyinza ogamba kale kangende somesa walala wano ojja kuwaleka. Eddagala weeriri, eddagala kati gwe gamba nti njagala bakuba kayiso neno labemu yoni ekyo okirekere gavumenti ejja kukakola. So eddagala weeriri ery'okuweereza abasomesa, abaana b'essomero, health workers, abaserukale. Waliwo categories zetwagamba nti ziri priority categories. Kati eddagala weeriri ery'okugema abo bonna abali priority n'abasomesa webali n'abaana b'essomero webali. Thank you, sir.
The program lineup on UBC.
Brought to you by Roofings, Strength of a Nation.